Hello, my name is Cody and this is my video for Leadership 101. My first leader would have to be my grandfather. The reason I chose my grandfather is because he's shown a lot of leadership aspects in my life. And first off, he came from a very low income family. They lived in Minneapolis in a 2-bedroom apartment, and throughout his life he had 3 sisters, and during his childhood he was the one who always had to sleep on the couch. Um, so they really weren't financially set that well. So he started work at a very young age just to buy everyday things. He wasn't given much as a child, and he had to really earn it. And he saw through hard work what he could accomplish. And I believe this, you know, being poor at a young age really taught him a good lesson to try to strive and work hard to achieve what he could. So that's one of the leadership aspects I think I get from him. Also, he always strived to achieve the best for his family. He worked very hard to provide a better childhood than what he had given to his kids. And also, he made sure his family was always well taken care of, no matter what kind of aspect it was. He always made sure that they were happy with what they had. And also, he always put others in front of himself. He was always making sure that they were well taken care of, and he always wanted everyone to be pleased and happy. He didn't always have that in his childhood, so he wanted to make sure that even through me, he always wanted to teach me just to look out for others and make sure you're not the always most important person there is. I think an aspect that hurt him was always making sure that everyone else was taken care of. I feel like sometimes he had to take care of himself and put himself in front of others in some circumstances, but just that's not the person he is, so he can't really change that much. My next leader would have to be Herb Brooks. The reason I chose Herb Brooks was mainly his leadership aspect of, despite what others thought, he went with his gut instinct. I have family friends who knew Herb personally and said the movie of Miracle really depicted, who he was. One reason would be when he was picking the Olympic team, even though a player wasn't, you know, the favorite or looked over to actually even make the team, he picked them based on what he thought. So he didn't really care much of what others thought or what the media wanted. Also, he could encourage people in the toughest of times. He always knew what to say and when to say it, to get really people going, including the hockey team or even just fans in general. He always could see the bigger picture too. You know, Even like reverting back to when he picked a player that not many people thought, he could see the bigger picture and how he would play in a role, into that hockey team. Also, he let his players figure out, for themselves, certain uh, dilemmas, I guess, when they were fighting to become a team in the first place to help shape them as a whole. I think a negative aspect of Herb would be sometimes he came off as too hard of a person or not caring enough, when actually he cared so much that he was mean at times. My last leader would have to be Steve Jobs, the creator of Apple. A reason why I picked Steve would be he's a great innovator. He started a Fortune 500 company of Apple. He got great minds together to help shape technology as we know it. He also came up with possibilities that no one else could think of. iPhones, iPads, MacBooks. All of these were years and years ahead of what anyone else would, ever have thought of to create. He also inspired people to think of things no one else would. Not many people, would think of having an iPhone or an iPad or a MacBook. They were just ideas that people thought would be silly. And despite criticism and what people who doubted him, he always pushed his ideas through. He pushed his ideas of computers and phones when maybe many people said it would be a silly idea or wouldn't work. I think a negative aspect of Steve Jobs would be, though, sometimes he pushed his innovations too far, and therefore your iPhone 5 would only last 4 months until the iPhone 5S would come out. So in certain circumstances, I guess too much technology was coming out. That is my video for Leadership 101. Thank you.